All right, Shalom. I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to our elders and apostles, a great millstone that taught us his truth. Peace, love, and salutations to the hopeful Akim, teaching and preaching his truth with all righteousness and sincerity. Today's lesson is entitled By the Word of the Holy One. And Lord willing, you be edified through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai. The true names of the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son, and as always, the sit-downs, the lessons, the street speaking, is for the remnant, the elect, the Israel of the Most High, to use the gospel preached. The title of this lesson comes from a precept here in Baruch, the 4th chapter, but we're going to read in a little bit to build up the vibration, because it's always comfort in the prophecies. All right, the state and condition that we're in, the Lord is going to change it for the elect. All right, we will go through Jacob's trouble. We will go through trials and tribulations, but there's deliverance had for those that are of the elect. You know what? Let's go ahead and start off with this in Psalms, the 34th chapter. And as it is written in Isaiah 33:6, knowledge and wisdom shall be the stability of thy times and strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure. So in these words, all right, there's comfort here for the elect. And Lord willing, we are part of that number and we endure. So it's always best to be constantly reading, studying, and going over things, because this builds up the inner man. All right, this is Psalm 34:6. This poor man cried. This is talking about the elect, those that are on the low level here in the society, but are made rich through the mercy and the grace of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, which starts off with this word. It says, "In Yahweh heard him." The Lord is only dealing with the elect. The Lord only hears the elect, all right, and saved him out of all his troubles. So there's salvation for the elect when we experience trials, tribulation, and trouble. And while we're going through the trials, the tribulation, and the trouble, the word is what comforts us and what gets us through, that enables the stability, that enables the faith. The angel of Yahweh encampeth round about them that fear him and delivereth them. So there's a, as they call it in the world, guardian angels, spirit guides, it's protection. All right, the Lord gives that to the elect. Oh, taste and see that Yahweh is good. The way you taste is by way of getting into this truth. This truth is like a meal, it's like a supper. Blesses the man that trusts in him. All right, because when you trust in the Lord or you have faith in him, you get blessings, man. You get delivered out of your troubles. So here in Baruch chapter 4, Baruch, or Baruch, which means blessing in the Hebrew, he was Jeremiah's understudy as well as a prophet. Okay. We'll start at 25. It says, "My children, the Israelites," everything starts off with the elect, "suffer patiently the wrath that has come upon you from the Most High." And this is the same sentiment that Micah had in Micah the 7th chapter. Let's load that up. All right, because we got to understand that we went off. We've committed sins and all manner of iniquity in this life and our past lives. So the different things that we go through, we got to suffer it. We got to suffer patiently, as it said there. Let's see, Micah 7:10, no, 7:9. Micah 7:9, "I will bear the indignation, the righteous anger of Yahweh, because I have sinned against him." You got to bear it until he plead my cause and execute judgment for me. He will bring me forth to the light, which is the truth, and I shall behold his righteousness. All right. And that's an even exchange. Bearing your indignation because you sinned against him until he plead my cause, until he deliver us out of this situation and execute judgment for me. Revelation 18 speaks about how the Lord is going to avenge his holy apostles and prophets. He will bring me forth to the light, which is this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. All right, the Lord has chosen us. We ain't choose the Lord. The Lord chose us. He chose us and brought us forth to the light. He enabled us to receive this engrafted word, which is able to save our souls, and shall behold his righteousness, the truth. All right, so when we go back to Baruch chapter 4, verse 25, "My children, the elect, suffer patiently the wrath that has come upon you from the Lord. For thy enemy have persecuted thee." When you read in Deuteronomy 28, verse 68, it speaks about how ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondmaids. That's chiefly talking about Esau. enemies have persecuted thee. But surely thou shalt see his destruction and tread upon his neck. See, this is comfort. All right. When our Lord Yahushua said that you shall receive the comforter, which is the spirit of truth, which the world cannot receive, this is examples of that. Here it is, we suffering patiently the wrath of the Most High. Our enemies is persecuting us, but the comfort of it, the balance of it, is that shortly thou shalt see his destruction. We're going to see the downfall of Esau, Edom. We're going to see the downfall of this kingdom, Akim. We're going to see Babylon the Great up in smoke, Lord willing, we are of the elect, and we endure to the end. And then we're going to tread upon his neck. Let's get an example of treading upon the neck. All right. It's comfort in these precepts. This is not the end for us. This is not the end where much glory abideth. This is Psalm 149, verse 6. Let the high praises of the Most High be in their mouth and a two-edged sword in their hand. This is talking about the elect. To execute vengeance upon the heathen and punishment upon the people. Yahushua spoke about this in Revelation, the 2nd chapter. So you can start at the 25th verse on down. He that endureth to the end, he shall receive a rod of iron and bash the heathens to pieces, roughly paraphrasing. To bind their kings with chains and their nobles with fetters of iron. So we're going to be arresting all these elites. We're going to put them in handcuffs. We're going to put them in fetters of iron to execute upon them the judgment written. And we're reading about it in the scripts. Judgment written right here. Part of it. Surely thou shalt see his destruction and tread upon his neck. That's Esau's judgment. And we out there on the highways and the byways through the Spirit proclaiming the sentence against him. Continue on in Psalm 149, verse 9. To execute upon them the judgment written. Dishonor have all his saints. Praise ye Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. And the saints are Israelites, starting off with the elect. So now when we go back to Baruch 4, and we're in the 26th verse, now it says, my delicate ones have went through rough ways. Slavery, Jim Crow, Willie Lynch, Indian slave trade, the Trail of Tears, and all the various things that happened during the civil rights movement. All right, we have went through rough ways. We were taken away as a flock caught of the enemies. We were stolen, you know. Be of good comfort, O my children, and cry unto the Most High. So we getting the instructions on how we should be handling ourselves. All right, we're supposed to cry unto Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, make the supplications, make the prayers. Right? It says, for you shall be remembered of him that brought these things upon us. The Lord ain't forgot about us. I did a lesson like that a couple of years ago. The Lord have not forgotten about us. Why? Because you shall be remembered of him that brought these things upon you. See, it's the Lord that brought these things upon us. So therefore, it's in our best interest to get right with him because he can pull it back. 28. For as it was your mind to go astray from the Most High, when you read Romans, the 8th chapter, it speaks about how the Lord made the creature subject to vanity. The Lord, basically put the spirit on us to go off. He put the spirit on us to fulfill the curses. He put the spirit on us to fulfill all these different things that the Israelites will be doing. Man's goings is of the Lord. How then shall a man understand his own way? For as it was your mind to go astray from the Most High, so being returned, seek him 10 times more. Repenting. Convert and worship the true power, calling upon his name, presenting your bodies as a living sacrifice. That's how you seeking him 10 times more. You meditating on the truth. It says, for he that brought these plagues upon you is the Lord that brought these things upon us once again. It says, shall bring you everlasting joy with your salvation. So the Lord is going to balance it. He's going to give us the everlasting joy, which is the kingdom of heaven, which is rulership of the Israelites on the earth. Take a good heart, O Jerusalem, talking about the elect. Jerusalem is a people before a place. But he that gave thee that name will comfort thee, and we being comforted by the truth. Miserable are they that afflicted thee and rejoice at thy fall. All these nations rejoice at our fall. Let's get precept here in Revelation 12 or 11. We normally start at Revelation 11 and 8, but we're going, for the sake of time, we're going to hit the points. 9, it says, and they of the people and kindreds and tongues and nations shall see their dead bodies 3 days and a half. So a span of 350 years from 1619 to 1970. these nations outside of the children of Israel saw us in a dead state without the knowledge, the wisdom, the understanding, which is the breath of life. Without the breath of life, you're as a dead body laying here in the street of the great city, which is spiritually Sodom and Egypt. And shall not suffer their dead bodies to be put in graves. When you putting the dead bodies in graves, you're comforting them. You're showing them love. When you read Tobit, Tobit was seeing the Israelites getting put to death by the Assyrians the Medes, and he was going around and he was seeing the dead bodies and he was putting them in graves. He was comforting them. He was showing love. He was showing compassion. These nations, they didn't do that. They that dwell upon the earth shall rejoice over them. These nations rejoiced over our downfall and make merry and send gifts one to another. And these gifts were slaves. All right. They were sending slaves. And the slaves, what that did was that allowed them to have cheap labor. All they was doing was giving them slop and putting them in slave quarters. All right. Let's see. Let's get a precept real quick. Joel. Joel 3. Joel was a prophet. Joel 3:3, they have cast lots for my people and have given a boy for an harlot and sold a girl for wine that they may drink. Yeah. And what have ye to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon, and all the coast of Philistines? Which these were the Hamites, but the people that's inhabiting the coast of Palestine today are the Arabs. Will ye render me a recompense? And if you recompense me swiftly and speedily, will I return your recompense upon your own head? Because ye have taken my silver and gold and have carried into your temples my goodly and pleasant things. They got our gold and silver. The children of Judah and the children of Jerusalem, the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom, have ye sold into the Grecians. And when you go into this word Grecians, it goes back to the Hebrew word Yawan, which is Japhet. But Esau took over that land and called themselves the Grecians. So these are the Edomites. So the Hamites, the Ishmaelites, all right, they were all on one accord with these Edomites during the transatlantic slave trade. And though hand join in hand, the wicked shall not go unpunished. So all these nations that benefited off the backs and rejoiced off the backs of the Israelites in their lower state, they're going to get judged. And we were reading about it. That ye might remove them far from their border. The border is their territory. We came way over here to the Americas. Behold, I will rise them out of the place whether ye have sold them, and we are being risen up by this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, and return your recompense upon your own head. So the Lord is going to judge Esau for everything that he has done unto us. And the cold part about it is the Lord put the spirit on Esau to do it. You know, the Lord's ways is not our ways. His thoughts are not our thoughts. All right. As high as the heavens is, so is the Lord's ways. So, hey, we got to just get with his program. And I will sell your sons and your daughters into the hand of the children of Judah, and they shall sell them to the Sabians, to a people far off. And Yahweh have spoken it. So, you know, that what a man soweth is that what he shall reap. They did it to us. We're going to do it to them. But as it says here, behold, I will raise them out of the place where ye have sold them. And we reading the raising up here in Revelation 11:10. And they that dwell upon the earth shall rejoice over them and make merry and send gifts one to another, because these two prophets tormented them that dwell upon the earth, the northern and southern kingdom. Here's a point. And after 3 days and a half, after this 350 years, the spirit of life from the Most High entered into them, and they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them. So just like we read in Joel 3:7, behold, I will raise them out of the place where ye have sold them. We being risen up by the word of the Holy One, going back to the title, and will return your recompense on your own head. So us coming up goes and it's synonymous with Esau coming down. That's why they want to destroy this message. But back in Baruch chapter 4, verse 31, miserable are they that afflicted thee, and rejoice at thy fall. So you should have an understanding that of these people who rejoice at they fall, at our fall, they're going to be miserable. And Salakias, Jake's outside singing. in the background. 32, miserable are the cities, plural. All these cities thought Babylon the Great, which is America, which thy children have served. Miserable is she that received thy sons. So America has received the sons. This place is going to be destroyed. It's going to be fully set on fire. And when the Apostle Paul saw the destruction of Babylon the Great, he said it was a lake of fire. But it was America fully in flames. It says, for as she rejoiced at thy ruin, these nations, starting off with Esau, rejoice at our ruin. You know, let's get another one. These nations, they rejoice at the ruin. So if they rejoice at our low estate, best believe they're grieved by us being raised up. Let's see, maybe 50. Jeremiah 50. Jeremiah 50, Jeremiah 51, which 50 and 51 is a continuance. It should be, like Apostle Tahar said, it should be one book, but it's both talking about Babylon the Great. Let's see. Jeremiah 50 and 6, my people have been lost sheep, the Israelites. Their shepherds have caused them to go astray, their religious leaders. They have turned them away on mountains. They have gone from mountain to hill, from this religion to that religion, and have forgotten their resting place, this truth. Because in Isaiah 28, the Lord said, this is the rest wherewith you may cause the weary to rest. This truth is where our resting place. All that found them, these heathens have devoured them. And their adversary said, we offend not, because they sin against Yahweh. But meanwhile, they put up all the abominations, they promote it, they advertise it, they make it easily accessible to commit adultery, looking at other men's women. Women is completely given liberty to be out here fully naked. All right. They glorified the eating of pork and abominations, crab oil, and all these different things. You know, oh, they sinning against you, we offend not. So we justified into bringing them to shame. They rejoice over that. The habitation of justice, even Yahweh, the hope of their fathers. All right. So these nations, they rejoice at our downfall, but our upcoming, they're going to loathe. Brute 433, for as she rejoiced at thy ruin and was glad at thy fall, once again, the rising up, they going to hate it. So shall she be grieved in her own desolation when she get destroyed. For I will take away the rejoicing of her great multitude, and her pride shall be torn into mourning. So the Lord is going to completely change this society up. We constantly going to 2nd Esdras 15, 2nd Esdras 16, going into the downfall of Babylon the Great, Jacob's trouble, the tribulation, all the said perils. These people is going to, their pride is going to turn into mourning. America, the land of the free, is finna change to the land of destruction. What does it say in, I want to say it's Isaiah 14, one shall be called the city of destruction. It may be Isaiah 32. Bros, look it up. One shall be called the city of destruction. So the pride shall be turned into mourning. It says, for fire shall come upon her from the everlasting. The Lord is going to bring that fire out of the chariots of Israel, as well as the ICBM missiles during World War III, long to endure. And she shall be inhabited of devils for a great time. You read Isaiah, 34 towards the end, Isaiah 13 towards the end. You know, these desert-like creatures, after the smoke and fire settles, there's going to be these desert-like creatures that's going to inhabit this place. O Jerusalem, look about thee towards the east, and behold the joy that cometh unto thee from the Most High. What is that joy? Let's read. Lo, thy sons come, whom thou sentest away. They come gathered together from the east to the west, because we were scattered by the word of the Holy One, rejoicing in the glory of the Most High. Us receiving the word of the Holy One is us coming back up, Akim. Lord willing, you're edified through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, double honors to our elders and apostles of Great Millstone and taught us this truth. Shalom to the beloved brother, GMS Version Island, Straight Gate, Shalom. All right, stay strong, Akim.